It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
Let's talk about facts.
If you want to have intellectual discussions.
Spiritually oriented, very beautiful farm.
Who you are beyond the personality.
I'm a human being, same as you.
Be who you are.
But to answer your question,
What is really going on? And let's get into this.
And what is happening, Wirgo Warriors, and welcome to the wonderful world of Wirgo, the place where we get asked what is really going on. And today we're asking what is really going on with evil. Now, I hear you. You're like, evil's evil. We've all been taught evil since we were from birth. Most of us, anyway. I keep saying all, but most of the people I've come into contact with will tell me what evil is, but they won't tell me what evil is. Right, I'm going to tell you now. Evil does not exist. It doesn't exist. The only place it can exist is within your warped imagination. The reason I say the word warped there is because it is exactly that. It's a warped version of reality. Evil doesn't exist outside the knowledge of man. And it is just a knowledge. And in the Bible, and I'm not trying to get religious, I'm just trying to say where this has been recorded for us. In the Bible, it states that God's only rule for mankind is not to consume the knowledge of the tree of good and evil, or the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, something to those words effects. People say different things, okay? Now, first of all, we need to bring up what is a tree of knowledge of good and evil so we can make this work so you guys can understand. Right. Jordan Peterson, I've seen him do if you don't know who Jordan Peterson is, links in the bio, and he's on screen right now. He once said in a conversation with Sam Harris, same details, that knowledge is simply like this, right? Knowledge, you'll learn a piece of knowledge, and then from that knowledge, you can learn other bits of knowledge, because what it does, knowledge, is just like, if you imagine your perception is an empty vessel, an empty container, and you put knowledge into your perception and you accept, what we do is we consume it. We consume knowledge, and when we consume it, it becomes part of us, becomes part of our perception. And then from there, we can see other things from this knowledge. So why we call it a tree of knowledge, it's a knowledge that's part of perception that grows, like a living thing that grows inside you. The reason for tree is simply this. You get one bit of knowledge, and from that, you learn, it branches off and learn more, then you learn more, like a family tree, yeah? You can, it's like that. And trees also really good here because it not only do you get the trunk, which would be the main information, good and evil. This is on the intellect side. It's on the screen. And then you learn all this stuff intellectually. But the roots, and they are roots because these are the parts you need to actually, if you want to undo this knowledge, this is the part you need to get to, not this intellect stuff. That's easy to change. But the roots of it are what grows it back all the time, which we would call Adam, is in the intellect, and the roots would be the fact of, like, Eve and the serpent, the cardinal mind, the body, the emotions. It's very objective. So if you don't fix it in the roots, it'll just keep growing back. Now, what I mean by this is you learn a knowledge. Like, first of all, as a child, you don't have an intellect to learn it. So Eve and your body learns this first. You know, your emotional side learns all this, and it learns it through, well, many different ways. They say temptation in the Bible, but you know, we can visit there in another video. But what I'm saying is these roots is as above, so below. So when your head learns stuff, it just copies what is learned down there. That's why Eve teaches Adam. Yeah, and what happens is the roots are just the emotional understanding of good and evil, and that's because Eve is dualistic. The objective part of you is what we refer to as a serpent, or your Holy Spirit, maybe, or you know, that part of you that just sees one world. And then we would say a reptilian brain state, maybe. I'm not too sure on that. And then from there, you've got this dualistic part of you, which is like Eve. It sees maybe right and wrong, good and evil in this sense, but it'll see things dualistically. But then Adam, when it's finally built, it understands both and has the famous, you may call him Jesus Christ, whatever you may call him, or whatever your prophet. They may have all been saying the same thing, where they'll state you have to bring these together and then you'll finally understand what really is, but people don't do that. So let's go back to this evil. Now, evil in itself is a circular definition, a circular argument, which we'll go into in a minute. Evil does not exist, neither does good. This is a false perception of reality, and it's like a fairy tale perception. Take it like this. I believe that everything is cause and effect. Everything is mental, actually, and you have a great portion of control in that. But everything is cause and effect. If you believe you live in a world of cause and effect, how on earth can you believe in evil? What is it? Evil is like a stopguard. It says, oh, no, it couldn't be anything beyond that. It's evil. Like a fictional fairy tale thing. And it doesn't even it's not even logical. I'm going to show you how evil isn't logical right now on this little episode to show you that evil is not logical at all. There's so many logical fallacies. And Jordan Peterson talks about evil. Mr. Peterson, if you're I'm uneducated. All right, yeah, I tell people God has put me here in the sense of the universe has shown me something. So I went through an ordeal and it came out of it with a different perception to reality. Don't know why I was gifted like that, but I was. And I was shown that evil and good are not real, and the whole world live inside a matrix where they believe this good and evil exist, and it governs pretty much everybody's emotions and the way they think and everything. I've seen... Jordan Peterson is probably one of the most intellectual men I've seen, and people, a lot of people worship the ground he walks upon, but it's full of stupidity. He believes in evil. Why do you believe in evil? It's a fictional fairy tale. It doesn't exist. I'll show you the logical fallacy. Here we go. So on screen now, you may see that I've just pulling this up. It states here. I don't know what that's all about. Let's give it that. It states here that evil is profoundly immoral and wicked. It has got a profoundly immoral and wickedness, especially when regard to supernatural force. Again, we'll get into that in a moment, right? Profoundly immoral and wicked. So the word profoundly just means extremely, I believe, yeah? I believe that's extremely, so we can all just, whatever evil is, it's an extreme sense of something, right? So evil is an extremely immoral and wicked. To me, that says evil is extremely evil and evil. I'll show you. Ready? Let's go into, first of all, what a circular definition is. I should have done this first, right? A circular definition, I'll come back to this again. A circular definition is a description that uses the term being defined as part of the description or assumes that the term being described are already known, right? So I think what it's trying to say there is that to use evil, to define evil, is circular and fallacious. It's not logical. It doesn't make any sense. So if you're an intelligent person, please help me with this, right? I'm going to lay out the theory for you. Ready? So let's look at the first word, immoral. Immoral, not conforming to accepted standards of morality. Let's look at this. The standards of morality we use in this sense are good, and even atheists use good and evil. It's like a good and evil. They say right and wrong, but yeah, right and wrong are just like, the mathematical terms of what you should and shouldn't do. But it doesn't say what you should and shouldn't do. But in this, we say you shouldn't do evil things and you should do good things. So moral, for most people in the world, is good. And immoral means evil. So if I said to people, what are immoral acts? They'd say evil acts. If I say what are moral acts, they'd say good acts. Again, I don't know what those words mean, but this is what they're saying. I'll tell you what I use at the end. It's worked for me for all my life. It still works now. In fact, I can pretty much put this up against anybody in a debate or argument, and I will win. I will win because I'll just bring them to this fallacious part and they'll be stuck. They'll be stuck in a circular reasoning, a circular definition that they can't escape. And it is that. And you're all stuck in it. That's why they call you double-minded, by the way. Jesus said, beware the double-minded. Do you know why? Because you use both this subjective terminology of good and evil as well as an objective one of like what is truly there, health. Let's not get off this topic a minute. We can always do it another time, right? So conform to accepted standards of morality. So to conform to accepted standards, the standard we accept is moral, which is good, yeah? As what they say. So immoral means evil or bad. Evil, same thing, synonyms, yeah? I'm dyslexic. Right, so immoral means evil by today's standard of morality. So immoral means evil. So let's go back to the original definition of evil. And it gets worse than this, trust me. Right, so I've now got evil is extremely evil and wicked. Let's go and look what the word wicked means. So we're looking at the word wicked. Now, there is a profound immorality and wickedness, especially when regarded to a supernatural force. Oh, I'm reading the same one. Can't stop being silly. A wicked, playfully mischievous. We're not talking about that, are we? And excellent, wonderful. Yeah, that's wicked. These are just like terms we use in different senses. But really what we're talking about here is, I say, what does wicked mean? Evil or morally wrong? Again, let's go for the morally wrong a minute. Morally wrong, wrong just is the negative version of the morality, which is evil. Not good. So this says wicked is evil or evil. I know you're using other words, but they still mean the same bloody thing. You're just saying evil in a different way. If you're not, explain to me how this is not the case. So wicked means evil or evil. Let's go back to the original definition. So now we've got evil equals extremely evil and evil. I know you've used the word immoral and wicked, but how do they not mean evil? They're just different forms of evil. So evil is evil and evil. Even says similar to wicked, bad, wrong. And then if you go into wicked, it says similar to evil. Immoral just says unethical, bad, wrongful, wicked, evil. Somebody explain to me how this is not... Let's go back to circle definition. The circular definition is a description that uses the term being defined as part of the description or assumes that... But we're not assuming anything. We're saying that we're using evil to define evil. So evil is evil, extremely evil, or evil. One more time, go back here just to show you. Evil, profoundly immoral and wicked. We can easily look at those words and understand that they mean evil is profoundly evil and evil. How is that not circular definition? Somebody needs to explain this to me, right? Evil, and as you've seen in that clip, is part of the matrix. It is a huge part of the matrix, and no one seems to be talking about it in the world. I don't understand why no one else is talking about this. Evil does not exist. What you're referring to is a thing from cause and effect is maybe what we would refer to as illness. People are generally just unhealthy, so they're not free from illness or injury. Now, they're missing components. Often when somebody's missing things like human components such as empathy because they haven't been taught it or they've been traumatized into not seeing it, we see those acts as evil, but they're not. They're just illness. It's poor health or poor education, which roughly can be described as the same thing, but they have their little separate entities about them. So is that what we're saying now? That look at the way I see the world. I see the world as where you would say that's evil, paedophilia or murder or anything silly like that. I'm going extreme because I'm trying to get what you mean. I don't look at that as evil. I look at that as a form of illness that can and should be healed. Great teachers like Jesus and all that were here as healers. They wanted to heal the world, and the only way they could heal the world is actually by teaching you that evil did not exist. Neither did good. One of his greatest sayings were to bring them both together. If you take good and evil and bring them together, what do you get? Most people can't, because they can't bring them together because they're in a matrix for their mind. This is part of the matrix. The very first knowledge, the very first programming in the matrix is to teach the child good and evil at such a young age that it's rooted right down in there that you can't even see it anymore. It's like putting a shade of pair of glasses on you at birth that are blue tinted, and then you can't ever see any other colours because you'll just see a form of blue. But then someone takes some glasses off you and you go, oh my God, what? I'm trying to take the glasses off the entire world with this good and evil. Someone help me. Show me the lie. Show me what I'm wrong. Show me what I'm mistaken. I'd love to learn. We've had individuals like... I won't mention names. We have individuals on our shows. We'll put a show up with him and show what we did. And he was convinced as also that, evil doesn't exist. His entire life he's believed in evil. It does not exist, guys. It's all part of the matrix. It's all part of the world of drama and narcissism. Think about it. If people didn't believe, like, say these, we go back to slavery in any form, but I know people are going to listen to me when I talk about American slavery, which is just one of the recent, it's not even the recent, but it's 100 years ago now. I mean, there's still slavery going on today. Remember where the word slave comes from, guys. I'll put it up on the screen, but I'm going to do another show. These individuals, people believed they were Christian people, and they were indoctrinated to believe these people were evil. And their job was to bring them to the goodness. Do you understand? It's an indoctrination of your mind. Control. The greatest lie and greatest control this world has ever released upon mankind is convincing us that good and evil exist. It's okay, I suppose, to look at good and evil and see it as what it is. It should be like a storytelling, imaginative thing within our world in here. But it isn't real. It's not real. It doesn't exist. So people, when you consume it as if it is real, doesn't it make sense to you then? Atum, your intellect, it's not the first person ever born, unless you believe that. I'm not going to argue in this episode. Atum will die in a spiritual sense. When you die, you just go to sleep, yeah? That's why they call it awaken and woke and things like that. But being awakened, to wake up, spiritual awakening. It's when Atum, your spirit, finally wakes up and goes, I'm not having any of this rubbish anymore. This emotional baggage of good and evil. It's what's weighing you all down. You wouldn't get angry at ill people. You'd be like, oh, that's an illness. Step away from it, help them. You wouldn't get why would you get angry at somebody who didn't have legs and they couldn't walk? It's a similar sort of thing. Somebody doesn't have empathy because that's been taken from them or something. You'd go, oh my God, he's had empathy taken from him, or she's had empathy taken from him. You wouldn't judge them. You'd be like, they're ill. They need help. This is what people like Jesus are trying to do. You see, he healed the blind, not the physically blind, but you, the individual that believes in good and evil. To me, this is a Jew perception, not Jewish people or Jewish religion. I'm not talking about that, so if you think that's what I'm talking about, go away. I'll use the word dual instead, Eddie. A dual perception. Yeah? A Christ perception is the Trinity. Good, what's in between? Positive, what we refer to as good. Negative, you refer to as evil. But you see these mathematical terms that don't have any emotion to them. And that's how you're supposed to be with it. No emotion. The reason you put emotion to it is to trap you in. And that's why it's called a tree of knowledge, because it has roots. And it doesn't matter if you cut that tree down, it's going to keep growing inside you because you need to get down into the roots. And the best way to do this is to ignore it and stop consuming it. See it as it actually is. And what happens is you go from this perception to the alternate perception, which is life. Which is, I mean, you look at life, you look at the objective reality that it is. There's no good and evil. And if you want to analyze life, you do it in a sense. Everything is present. Everything is neutral. If it was a word in between good and evil, which it should be, love. Real love. Acceptance and appreciation. Another show. Right, guys, I've had a waffle on now. Wirgo Warriors, please, correct me if I'm incorrect. Or just, accept that this is the truth. And the truth will set you free. Wirgo Warriors, harmony.